This is AFRICUNIA TV coming from our studio here in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm Deborah Ezeh. Welcome to the news update. We begin from Western Nigeria, where members of the National Assembly have insisted on the amendments made to the 2022 appropriation bill, including the reduction of allocation to 10,733 projects and insertion of 6,576 new ones. The lawmakers stated that by the power of appropriation conferred on the Constitution, the Parliament has the right to tinker with the federal government's budget like any other bill. The changes made and the response by the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, showed that the legislature was not a rubber stamp of the executive, as been alleged by Nigerians. Buhari had on Friday, while signing into law the 2022 appropriation bill and the 2021 finance bill, expressed strong reservations on the worrisome changes made by the National Assembly to the federal government budget. And still in Nigeria, the World Bank has said Nigeria may have one of the highest inflation rates globally in 2022, with increasing prices diminishing the welfare of Nigerian households. According to the World Bank, Nigeria is projected to have one of the highest inflation rates globally and the 7th highest among sub-Saharan African countries. The bank further highlighted the adverse effects of inflation on Nigeria, which include pushing 8 million Nigerians into poverty and the possible disruption of consumption, investment and savings decisions, among other consequences. And still on the African scene, thousands of Sudanese pro-democracy protesters rallied Sunday outside the presidential palace in Khartoum, braving tear gas, a mass deployment of armed soldiers, and a telecommunication blackout. As with previous demonstrations, which have become regular since the coup, the authorities have erected roadblocks with shipping containers blocking Nile River between the capital and outlying areas. Internet and cell phones have not worked since the morning, and security forces were perched on armored vehicles with heavy machine guns watching passerby. And more updates from Sudan. Prime Minister Hamdok said on Sunday he was resigning 6 weeks after returning to his post in a deal with military coup leaders he argued could save a transition towards democracy. Hamdok, who had failed to name a government as protests continued against the military takeover in October, said a roundtable discussion was needed to produce a new agreement for Sudan's political transition. And moving on, South Africa's Public Works Minister confirmed that the fire that started on Sunday morning in the Parliament complex in Cape Town has spread to the National Assembly, where lawmakers sit. Initially, the fire was contained in the chambers of the National Council of Provinces in the Hood Assembly building, but it spread to the National Assembly chambers. Lawmaker Steve Swart provided reassurance that the fire would not disrupt the normal work of members of the Parliament. And now we head to the foreign scene, where 5 Syrian soldiers were killed and 20 injured in a rocket attack by Islamic State militants on a military transport bus on Sunday in the east of the country at approximately 7 p.m. local time. Islamic State, the hardline Islamic group that declared a caliphate stranding parts of Syria and Iraq in 2014, has lost all territory that was under its control in 2019. However, the group continues to wage a low-level insurgency in both countries. And still on the foreign scene in India, India started vaccinating children aged 15 to 18 against the coronavirus on Monday as it quickly expands its inoculation efforts to cover the world's largest adolescent population amid fears the Omicron variant will drive a new surge of infections. Authorities on Monday reported 33,750 new COVID-19 cases and 123 deaths. The total number of cases of the fast-spreading Omicron variant detected in India was 1,700. Private and public schools will double up as vaccination centers for children, and schools authorities have been ordered to report their daily vaccination data to state authorities. And now in Australia, Australia's government said the milder impact of the Omicron strains of COVID-19 meant the country could push ahead with plans to reopen the economy even as new infections hit a record of more than 37,000 and a number of people hospitalized rose. Record daily case numbers were reported on Monday in states of Victoria, Queensland, South Australia and Tasmania, as well as the Australian Capital Territory. In New South Wales, there were 20,794 cases, higher than Sunday figure but below the daily record of 22,577 set on Saturday, with testing numbers lower over the New Year holidays weekend The national daily total is a record of more than 37,150 cases, exceeding Saturday's 35,327 cases, with Western Australia and the Northern Territory still to report. And now we head to the sports scene, where Chelsea came from 2-0 down to earn a point from a pulsating 2-2 draw with Liverpool on Sunday. That does lead to, for either side, hopes of catching Manchester City at the top of the Premier League. City's lead now stand at 10 points from Chelsea, with Liverpool a point further back, albeit with a game in hand. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp was upset along with 3 key players due to positive coronavirus cases, but the Reds still raced into a 2-goal lead thanks to parting gifts from Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah before they head off to the Africa Cup of Nations. Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel made the bold call to drop record signing Romelu Lukaku after the Belgium attacker went public with his displeasure at being used sparingly by the German. And last but not the least, more players joined the Super Eagles camp yesterday as the team had its first training ahead of Cameroon 2022 African Cup of Nations. 11 players out of the 28 invited by coach Austin Guavoren took part in the training yesterday at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The Cameroon 2022 AFCON will start on Sunday with the host nation, Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, taking on Burkina Faso, while reigning champions Algeria will defend the trophy against Sierra Leone. The Super Eagles and Pharaohs of Egypt will start off their campaign in Guerrero on Tuesday, January 11th. An official of the team hinted yesterday that the more players arrived at camp yesterday but could not take part in the training. And it's a wrap on news updates on AFRICUNIA Television. Remember to stay connected and updated. Do follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram and Facebook respectively. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with the news and other programs. My name is Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.